Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And this is JTB.
And I decided to get the Master Ninja Collection for Sigma and make some new videos on normal getting the Master Ninja ranking. And since there's an achievement for this, I think this will help explain to everybody what needs to be done. Now, it's not going to be a full-blown karma run. It's not going to be, oh my god, I've got to get every point possible. This is more or less make the fights, or the time limits of the fights, make the get UTs, and make the end of chapter bonuses, especially Essence. Essence is so much easier to get now, but I think that this will help a lot of players to show that you don't have to play perfect, but if you do some simple things, it'll get them the ranking. And this first fight right here, jump back, throw the shurikens, that way it gives you a chance to charge, and then you can get 2 UTs. Because I've seen some videos where people don't get any UTs on these, this first fight, and there's an easy 10,000 points right there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do the jump back. Like, you can just charge there, and you can get an ET, so it's better than nothing. We were talking about this before the video, but I did do a tiny little bit of testing last week, I think. And just from my kind of knowledge in the game and that, the point requirements, like as far as we know, like the actual specific point totals for rankings, like no one actually knows what they are. If anyone wants to work them out, that'd be great. But whatever they are, like they're a lot lower than I think you would expect them to be. Especially when you look at pretty much any other action game that has kind of an end of chapter like ranking system. If anyone's familiar with something like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, in order to get the top rank in those games, comparatively, like it's a lot harder compared to what you have to do in NG. Like, especially in Sigma, you can skip quite a lot of things, like as long as you're kind of getting the big point totals, like your Fiend challenges and your end of chapter bonuses and your bosses. That alone can like get you Master Ninja in a chapter. You don't really have to do much past that to actually get those Master Ninja ranks.
Well, having said that, though, we want people to, we encourage people to fight all the fights, get the time limits, whether you get a lot of UTs or not. It's something I think is just part of the challenge. You can't get 2 UTs here on this fight, and but it's kind of a struggle, and this video is not going to be struggling for those extra UTs. On the second fight, you could get 2 ETs on that, but chaining that to the third fight, it's a little complicated. See, on this fight right here, I mean, you would want to separate these guys out and not kill. See how I kill 3 guys at once? Mm-hmm. And I think I do it again here, right here too.
Yeah,
if you were playing for a karma run, you wouldn't be doing that at all.
Yeah, this is the downside of when you play the lower difficulties. This only really applies to like an actual full-blown high score run, but the enemies being so much weaker means you have to be so much more careful with where you actually place your attacks if you want to maximize points. That second encounter, in the building, for example, where the dojo is, you can actually get 2 UTs and an ET out of that, but if one stray hit of anything hits a ninja that you don't want it to hit, you're done. Like, you won't get those 2 UTs and an ET. And you also have to be close enough to open the box to stop the timer, so there's a lot that goes into like the difference between sort of just getting the time limits and actually getting like max points is night and day. But you really don't have to focus too much on that. And it's weird because this fight in particular has way too much time comparatively to the rest of the chapter. You don't have to farm like crazy to get it.
And you would want to not kill 2 guys, You would want to, I kill 3 guys, I think, at the beginning. You'd only want to kill 2.
Yeah.
And so, I again, don't let this karma or appear like it's a karma run discourage anybody. And just focusing on getting a few UTs and making the time limits, and you'll always get this Master Ninja, the ranking at the end. Now, if you ever, after you decide to do something like this, and then decide you want more of a challenge and see what a real good challenge is, then I would say try to get the... I think I messed this up here. I should have XY, and then I missed my forward Y. So I missed out on a UT right here, but, I still got an ET. I still made the time limit, so I'm golden. 255 is not bad at all, but of course it could be a lot better.
Yeah, it can, and I mean, just from the little bit of testing I did, I think I would I would hazard a guess that the Master Ninja like total is somewhere in the region of like 300,000 points for the whole chapter. So the fact that you've already got that before the first save statue kind of like says a lot. And as well here, like, you know, you're kind of you're like, now it's funny, I'm intrigued that you went for that. Like, was that just kind of a first try thing? Because like usually that pattern's super rare. I was gonna say,
Oh yeah.
An ET and a UT out of that fight, is actually see, I always like this is gonna be for the everyman, and he gets like one of the hardest things in chapter 1 in the video.
But see, there's a good thing is to recognize that pattern, that I could get that ET out of it. Now here's something. Oh, and the main thing about my runs now, transitions. I got some new transitions I'm going to explore. But this fight right here, I totally blow it, but I leave it in. But you usually want to like UT the guys. And what happened was, if I UT'd the guys on the left side of the room as you were coming into the room, while I was getting the key, I would absorb the essence every time.
Yeah, that's a weird thing there. So real quick there is one difference there. You'll probably see it in another video, but when you knock an enemy down on stairs or a slanted surface in Sigma, they have this insanely long like tumble animation, which will completely mess up your pattern. So keep that in mind. So if you are going to go for like an extra UT or something like that, if you do forward Y or forward triangle square, so they land like face down, you won't get that. If they land on their back, you will get it. So just keep that in mind when you're going for like UTs on bodies and stuff like that.
Well, when people are like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I'm trying to get 2 guys. You know, so, and I kept ETing my way through. But see, I mess it up again coming up here because of this slant.
Yeah.
See right there.
I mean, now he's facing up, so that would have been okay. But if you'd have got him on the other, like if you'd have got him when he was behind you, like you'd need forward. It's funny, you know, because we're always so used to saying X and Y, but I think predominantly people seem to be playing this on PlayStation, so it's like triangle square, but it's forward triangle square for that string. But yeah, to briefly go back to what you're saying about the essence, that's something that's a weird thing with just the way the environment works in this game. Like when you go through that room where the trapdoor is, it's almost like there's no actual. It's almost like that room disappears when you're in the room with the samurai statue, because you can absorb the essence from the lamp as well sometimes if you're not holding block. So make sure you've got block held down while you're moving through there, or as you say, you can absorb that essence by accident.
Well, if on this last ninja, if you notice, I did an immediate XY. But if you watch some of JTB's videos and some of the other advanced Karma guys, they do X and then they kind of pause a little bit before they do Y again. If I had done X, pause, then Y, I would have been able to scoop him up.
Yeah, and that'll work every time. Like, provided your timing's right, like that'll get him every time. Because they try and dodge the first X, and it's just an AI manipulation. Like when they dodge that first X, they're programmed every time to attack you immediately. So then you X, delay, their attack starts, and then you just stuff it with Y and you launch them.
So one thing on the Mirai fight, it's a little bit different. The XY on landing Y doesn't work anywhere as well like it did in Ninja Gaiden Black. So I'm still getting used to this. And one thing that I didn't show here, which is also a good move, was I picked up the Flying Swallow scroll. And I kind of wish I hadn't, because when he rolls, you can X plus A towards him and then come down with Y.
Yeah.
And the timing is still there, but with the Flying Swallow, if your timing's off, you'll end up Flying Swallowing towards him.
Yeah, it's the Flying Swallow can hit him, though. You can actually stun lock him with Flying Swallow. It's very, very hard to do, but you can do it. It's pretty cool.
So I think just kind of let him charge or roll, and then the X hold Y, you know, works just as well. But yeah, the jumping towards them and coming down with the Y is a powerful move, and it would probably, you know, kill him a lot faster.
Yeah.
But since I didn't want to really mess with the timing. Remember, I'm rusty. I haven't played a Sigma game in years. Or it's been since, what, 2008 or 2009. So you throw that with the extra controls.
When it came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's the max time. The minimum kills you need, I'm going to put that up. That's actually adjusted to how it's supposed to be. in terms of, because I think I used to have like 10 seconds, but now I'm going to change it all to the correct things. But again, I missed a lot of points in there. I didn't play perfectly. I didn't think on my feet a couple times like maybe I should have, and I still got the Master Ninja ranking. I made every time limit. I made all the chapter times, and that's what I really encourage people to do. We've always promoted that, like we've said. There's a lot of videos out there with, especially for the new Master Ninja Collection, with, in my opinion, and I'm sorry if it offends anybody, with bad information and showing a certain way and say you can't do this, and that ends up turning people off to really the beauty of playing for score that this game can have.
Yeah, I agree. And even if you don't want to play, as we say, like hardcore for score, just make all those time limits. When you introduce time, I feel like that's the thing with any game, especially an action game. When you're going for kind of the whatever the max ranking, time is always a factor, and that's what makes it difficult. You know, if you could spend like half an hour on, you know, a Devil May Cry mission to make sure you don't get hit and still get like that, you know, that SS rank, it'd be a lot easier. But because you have to do it in a certain amount of time, it makes it quite a bit more difficult.
Right. Now, I know if people want to enjoy the game and not have to mess with all this stuff, people can play however they want to play, but there is an achievement for the Master Ninja ranking.
No, they can't. They have to play for score.
Yeah. Well, because what I'm saying is if you're not doing the things that we're showing in here, at least, you know, half of it in terms of UTs and making time limits or end of chapter rankings, you're not going to get that Master Ninja ranking. So
yeah.
If you can sit there and make the time limits in chapter 1, because there's a couple that are real tricky, and again, you don't have to go for 2 ETs or 2 UTs and an ET. You know, just get 1 UT and make the time limit. Or, you know, instead of killing 3 guys and only, you know, singling them out by 1 and the time it takes to reset to get that done. No, you don't have to do any of that stuff. But I think when people go through and get that Master Ninja ranking, it's like, hey, you know what, I accomplished something. And we hope it's a little bit more fun than for somebody's, okay, you've got to go for, you know, 600,000 in the first chapter. You know, because that right there is super tough. There's been so many people who've started out on an extreme karma run that's quit over the years.
Yeah, and it's always like without fail, like in the early chapters, because
right.
I know we've said it countless times over the years, but you know, like the big chapters you want to worry about are like 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15. Like they're your big point chapters. You know, unless you're going for like absolute max, worry about those. Take it easy on the rest.
Well, I'm going to link in my video. He's a great player. He's Julius Roberts on the. Is it Roberts? Julius Roberts.
It's
on
Ruler,
the site?
I think, on the site.
Oh, Julius Ruler. Sorry, excuse me,
yeah.
Julius Ruler on the NG Realm site, and it's Kaiser and Darez. I think that's how you spell his name. He did an all-out karma run through the first 4 chapters of Sigma. So I'm going to include a link in the description of his chapter 1, and you can see what he does versus what I do, and really compare all out versus what I'm doing. And even though like the points might be, I think he gets 20 or 25,000 more points, what it takes to get that is pretty tough.
Yeah.
And hands off to any people who have done a really full-blown karma run and understand that. But that's not what this video is about. This is, hey, let's get some UTs, let's make the time limits, let's make the end of chapter bonuses, get our Master Ninja ranking, be proud of ourselves, and then go on to the next chapter.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, guys, well, that's chapter 1. We'll see you in the next chapter. Y'all take care.
Take care, everyone.